Okay. Welcome everybody, welcome to Monday's Yoga Vida class. Yes, we're going to start in child's pose today. So for those who have just joined, if you can just make your way into child's pose and get yourself comfortable, and then I shall explain a little bit about what the class is about. So if you just want to come towards the backs of your mats, knees wide, toes together, and then just relaxing down to the mat. Always using a support for your head if you need it. If your head doesn't quite meet the floor, then please just find a cushion or any sort of support just to bring the floor up to you. And just settling into your child's pose. So today we are going to be focusing on the back, around the back area. So we'll be doing some back bends, some back stretches, a few twists. Twisting's really lovely to release the muscles in the lower back and the upper back. So yes, please just be mindful of your back and how your back is feeling. Even if you do have a very kind of healthy back, healthy spine, back bending can be a little bit niggly, a bit strenuous. So please just be mindful. If you do have any niggles in your back, just be really gentle with yourself. There's lots of options when it comes to back bends. You can kind of go as far into it as is good for you. So really be mindful of your spine. Obviously, our fairly delicate things are spines. But really important to keep your back healthy, to keep your spine healthy, to keep it strong, flexible, mobile. So back bending and twisting and keeping that movement in your spine is so important. And in yoga, the majority of what we do is kind of focused around the spine and keeping length in the spine, or keeping space in the spine, mobility in the spine, strength in the spine. So yeah, all a really good thing to focus on. And especially if you do have any back pain, any lower back pain, which most of us suffer from at some point in our lives, it's probably because we don't have a strong core, we don't have the muscle strength to kind of support the activities we're doing. So really, really good to keep strong in the back. So we're going to be focusing on the back today. As I said, please be mindful of your back and how your back is feeling currently. With that in mind, we should get started. So for those that are just joining, please join us down in child's pose. We're going to sit back on our heels, knees nice and wide, and just resting down onto the mat, taking some nice deep breaths once we're there. So really settling in, bringing your awareness to you, your body, taking any little mini movements you might need just to settle in. Just really starting to bring your focus into the here and now, into how your body is feeling. And finally into your breathing. So maybe starting to take some nice long deep breaths. And it's quite nice when we're in child's pose, you can maybe feel your belly kind of pushing onto your thighs, so you can really tell when you're deep breathing. So using that kind of physical sensation, really try and expand your belly, expand your torso even more. Really expand as you inhale. And really fully releasing, fully letting go as you exhale, sinking a bit further into the mat, releasing a bit further. Just relaxing around the neck, the shoulders. Nice, slow, steady, deep, full breathing. Okay, when we're ready, we're just going to walk our hands over to the left-hand side. So just keeping our hips and torso where it is, just walking the hands over so we can just have a nice stretch down the right-hand side of the body. And you can almost kind of lean into that side body as well, just to give a little bit more of a deeper stretch, kind of down the shoulder, the rib cage. Keeping your breathing slow and steady. And then walking the hands back through center and over to the other side. Walking the hands back to center, we're just going to take our right arm and thread it underneath our left armpit. So coming into our thread the needle. Again, just nice, gentle, starting to stretch out around the upper back. Maybe just resting the side of your head on the floor. Breathing into the stretch, so really releasing with your exhales. And using your inhales just to find a little bit of space, find the energy. And softening down with the exhales. Okay, bringing that right arm back through to center and then threading your left arm through. Okay, slowly bringing your left arm back. We'll bring ourselves up to hands and knees. So just bringing your knees slightly closer together, so hip distance apart. And just realigning so our hands are underneath our shoulders, knees are underneath your hips and toes pointing backwards. We'll come straight into our cat-cow position. So as we inhale, belly dips down, gazing forward. And as we exhale, curving the spine up towards the ceiling. Inhaling, coming back through into your cow position. And exhaling up. So just following this movement with your breath in your own time, being mindful of your spine, how your back is feeling, trying to move nice and slowly and gradually. Keeping our base nice and strong, so really pushing down with your hands and your knees, the tops of your feet. You kind of feel like you're like pushing the earth away from you at the same time as feeling grounded by it. Okay, just taking one more round. And then we'll meet in our neutral spine, so keeping our back nice and flat. Taking our gaze towards the front of the mat, lengthening through the neck, and pushing up through the backs of the shoulders. So watch we're not sinking into our joints here and collapsing in the lower back. Pushing up through the hands, almost kind of rounding the tops of the shoulders, and pulling our belly button back towards our spine. It's quite important for this one. So let's take our left leg, stretch it out behind us, and let's keep the toes tucked under, so the toes are on the floor, and just stretching out the back of the leg, so just opening up the back. And then we'll take our right hand, and keeping it on the floor as well, we just want the palm facing inward, so just your little pinky is kind of resting on the floor. And then keeping that belly button tucked up towards the spine, we want to keep that area really engaged. We're going to lift the arm and the leg at the same time, just up to shoulder height, up to hip height, and then lowering back down. Lifting up and lowering down. We want to avoid collapsing in the lower back here, so trying to keep that area really strong, engaging the core, engaging that abdominal area. So keep coming up and down just in your own time. Inhaling to come up, exhaling down. Okay, then staying down on the floor, we're just going to bring that left knee back to kneeling, keeping that right hand stretched out just towards the top of your mat. We'll come into our shoulder sweep. So let's sweep that right arm back, up and round. So just working a little bit into the shoulder. Inhaling as we reach up and exhaling to come back and round. Just really stretching out with those right fingertips, engaging the arm, nice and strong through the arm. And just taking one more nice big circle, and then coming back to our all fours. Making sure again that our knees are just under our hips, toes pointing backwards. Same on the other side, so let's stretch out with our right foot. And just take a second just to really push back with that heel, open up the back of the leg. And then let's just extend out our left hand onto the mat, so palm facing inward, little pinky just kind of resting on the floor. Let's firm up our core area, so pull that belly button back towards your spine, engage your core, and then inhaling, lifting up and lowering down. And up and down, just taking some more in your own time. Not going above shoulder or hip height. We really want to avoid kind of collapsing into the back here, so keeping it nice and strong and straight. Okay. Next time your right foot meets the floor, just bending in that knee again, bringing the right knee back, stretching out with the left fingertips, and let's sweep back and round into our shoulder circles. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Okay, taking one nice big circle, really reaching out with the fingertips. Nice big circle, and then back down. Keeping our knees hip distance apart, we're just going to sink our hips back, so almost like a little mini child's pose here. So sinking the hips back, we're going to reach the hands forward, so maybe just wiggling the hands forward a little bit, just so you can start to feel a stretch kind of down your armpits, kind of through your spine, maybe down into the hips. Lowering the chest down towards the floor, but we don't want to rest the head on the floor here, so just gazing down towards the mat, just finding a bit of length through the spine. And then we're going to bring ourselves up, bring our weight up and over our wrists, so our shoulders are over our wrists, coming into a half plank pose. Here we're just going to take 3 little mini press ups. So squeezing the elbows in, engaging the core, just lowering down, pushing up, lowering down. It can literally be a couple of inches if you need. Lowering down, pushing up, and we're going to lower all the way down to the floor, nice and slowly. Bringing our hands underneath our shoulders, firming up the legs, pushing down into the mat with the tops of the feet. Let's come into our baby cobra. So as we inhale, just peeling the chest off the floor, and then exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down, just really trying to use those back muscles rather than push with your hands. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Okay, pushing up through your hands and knees. We'll come back into that kind of little child's pose spine stretch. So just shifting your hips back towards your heels. And then we'll do the same again. So moving forward into our half plank. Shoulders over the wrists. Squeezing the elbows in. 3 little press ups, just coming down as far as you need. And then lowering nice and slowly down to the mat. This time we're going to bring our hands out into a cactus shape. So elbows up in line with the shoulders. Fingertips pointing forward. As we inhale, okay, strong legs, remember, tops of the feet pushing down into the mat, kneecaps lifting, so keeping the legs strong. As we inhale, we're going to lift our chest, lift our arms, and exhale down. Inhale, lifting the chest, lifting the arms, squeezing the shoulders, and down. One more time, inhaling up. And exhaling down. Hands come underneath the shoulders, Pushing back up, hands and knees, coming back into our little spine stretch. So you might want to wiggle the fingers even a little bit further forward, finding a little bit more space down the side body. Coming forward again, last time. Coming back into our half plank, squeezing the elbows in, 3 little press-ups. Engaging through the core, lowering all the way down to the mat. Okay, this time, bring our hands back up into cactus. Strong through the legs, pointing those toes. We're going to lift our arms and our legs up at the same time. So as we inhale, lifting the legs, lifting the arms into cactus. And then taking our hands, we're going to straighten our arms and then take them round so they're pointing back towards our toes. Seeing if you can lift a little higher. And relax, just letting the arms come down by the side, just resting your cheek on the mat. Maybe giving your hips a little wiggle from side to side. And then we're going to do that one more time. So bringing our arms back into cactus. As we inhale, lift everything up. Keeping the neck long, so just keeping your gaze down to the floor. Pointing back with the feet. And then let's extend out the arms all the way back and round, pointing back towards your toes. Can you lift a little bit higher, using those back muscles? And then lowering everything down, maybe turning your head the other way, resting on your cheek, giving your hips a little wiggle. Okay. When you're ready, just bringing your hands back underneath your shoulders, pushing up through hands and knees. This time we'll tuck the toes under, shifting the weight back and up, coming up into our downward facing dog. So let's take a little paddle out through the legs, opening up the backs of the legs, taking any other kind of movement you need to in your first down dog. Nice, long, slow, deep breathing here, strong through the arms. And then we'll make our way up towards the front of the mat, keeping nice and low, feet hip distance apart, into our ragdoll, so holding on to opposite elbows. Take a really nice big bend in the hips here, bend in the knees. Take a little sway from side to side, just releasing those muscles all in the lower back. Letting the head hang heavy. And then bringing the hands down to the mat. We're going to uncurl our way all the way up to standing. Nice and slowly. When we get there, sweeping the arms up high, reaching up to the sky. Nice big inhale. And then as we exhale, we're going to bring the arms down, stretching out to the side. Coming into a little mini back bend here, fingers pointing down towards the floor, strong through the legs. Inhale, sweep the arms back up to the sky. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, uncurl up to standing. Reaching the arms all the way up. Exhale, extend the hands out to the side, coming into a little back bend, gazing up to the sky. Fingers pointing down, inhale, coming up. Exhale, forward fold. We'll do a couple more of those. Inhaling, uncurling. Reaching up. Exhale, extend out the arms, open up the chest. Little mini back bend. Inhaling, all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Uncurling, inhaling up, sweeping the arms up, finding that length through the side body, through the spine. Exhaling, arms come out, outstretched, open up the chest. Little back bend, fingertips pointing towards the floor. Inhaling, bringing yourself to upright. And exhale, forward fold. Well, this time we'll stay in our forward fold. Inhale into our halfway lift. So bringing your hands to your shins, crown of the head reaches forward, trying to find that length in the spine again. Hands come down to the mat. Let's take a step back with our left foot, coming into our low lunge, so back knee comes down. Sweeping the left arm high, we'll just bring our right hand to our hip, left arm comes up, and again, maybe slightly coming into a little back bend if that feels okay on your back. Feeling a nice stretch all down that front left body. And then bringing the left hand down to the mat, right arm up to the sky, coming into our twist. Right hand comes down, let's step back into our full plank or half plank. You can lower the knees if you need to. And then vinyasa, let's lower down to the mat. Inhaling into your back bend. Exhaling down, pushing up into our downward facing dog. Stepping forward with the left foot, so nice big step forward, just grab that ankle and shiggle it forward if you need to. Lower that back knee down, left hand to the left hip, right arm up, and then maybe pointing those right fingertips back, strong through the legs. And then bringing the right hand down to the mat, left fingertips up to the sky. Really reaching up through those fingertips, really engaging your arms here. And then left fingertip, left hand comes down, stepping back into our plank, lowering down to the mat, into your back bend, maybe coming up a little bit further this time, exhaling down, pushing up into our downward facing dog. Melting the heels down to the mat, just checking our heels are tucked away behind our toes. Don't worry about straightening the legs. Just really reaching up and high with those hips. Looking forward, making our way up to the front of the mat. Coming into our halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing, sweeping the arms up high. Exhale, outstretching the arms, coming into a little mini back bend. Inhaling, bringing the arms back up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale into our halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down. This time we'll step back with our right leg first, lowering that back knee down to the mat. Reaching both arms up this time and coming into our cactus shape. We're going to twist round to the left, so our left hand comes behind us, right arm in front, and extend out those fingertips. And we're kind of going to circle the arms to twist the other way. So left arm comes down and round, right arm goes up and round. So our right arm is now behind us, left arm in front. Sweeping both arms back up to center. And coming down to the mat, stepping back into our plank, taking your vinyasa, lowering down to the mat, your back bend, and exhaling, downward dog. Stepping forward with our right foot this time, low lunge, dropping the back knee down, sweeping up with both hands, cactus. And then twisting around to the right, extending back with your right hand, forward with your left hand. Strong through the legs. And then bringing the right hand down, left arm up, twisting the other way. So right hand is forward, left arm back. Just watching that front knee isn't collapsing in, so just making sure that front knee is tracking over the front foot. And then sweeping both arms up, down to the mat. Stepping back into our plank, lowering down into your back bend. You can come up as high as you like or as low as you like. Pushing back up into our downward facing dog. Lowering the knees down to the mat, nice and wide, toes together. Taking a brief pause in our child's pose again. So lowering the head down to the mat. Letting the elbows rest down. Trying to keep the weight back in the hips, so the hips are always having the attention of kind of coming towards the heels. And then slowly we're going to walk our hands back towards us, keeping our knees wide and toes together. So we're coming to sit on our heels. Reaching both hands up. So trying to find, at the same time as grounding down through your heels, reaching up, finding the length in the spine. I'm just going to take a little twist round to the left. So bringing that right hand on the side of your left thigh. The left hand can come to your hip, your lower back, or down to the floor. Inhale, reaching up, and exhale, twist round to the other side. Bringing yourself to center, clasping your hands, pushing the hands out in front of you, so stretching out the arms. Inhale, let's raise the arms above our head. Again, you can follow your hands with your gaze. So coming into a bit of a back bend, then releasing the hands, bringing the hands all the way down and round like we did when we were standing. And here you can bring the hands maybe just to your lower back. If you want a little bit more, you can bring the hands down to the floor behind you and lifting up the hips. So completely up to you here if you want to bring your hands just to your lower back and just come into a little back bend, or going a little bit deeper. And everybody coming back up to upright. Reaching up again, we'll do that one more time. So hands up to center, little twist round to the left. Inhaling up to center, round to the right. Coming to center, clasping the hands, maybe clasping the hands the other way this time. Stretching out the palms, stretching out the arms. Inhaling, lifting up, following your hands with your gaze. Reaching down and round with your hands, really stretching out, opening up the chest, and again, just finding your variation. Maybe bringing the hands behind you, lifting up the hips. Or you can just bring the hands behind you, opening up the chest. Or the hands to the lower back, opening up the chest. Good, wherever you are, coming back up to seated, reaching the hands up, and then bringing the hands down in front of you. We're going to come into our downward dog. So bringing the knees together, tucking the toes under. Lifting the hips up nice and high. Relaxing the head here. So maybe giving the head a little shake, a little nod. Okay, we're going to step forward with our right leg. So nice big step forward with our right leg. We're kind of coming into a high lunge, so keeping that back knee lifted, sweeping the arms up high. Pivoting into our warrior two. So back foot comes parallel with the back edge of the mat. Front knee tracks over that right foot, watch it's not collapsing inwards. Arms at shoulder height. And coming into our reverse warrior. So left hand comes to our hip, our thigh, or to our lower back. Right arm comes up and over. Keeping a nice bend in that front leg, strong through the back leg. And then coming back to our warrior two, turning the right toes in. So our feet are now parallel. Bringing our hands to our hips, firming up the thighs, firming up the legs, hinging from the hips. Keeping our back nice and straight here. So if you can bring the hands down to the floor, then by all means, but keeping the hands underneath the shoulders. If you have any books or blocks or even a chair, you might want to use that. But you really want to find the length in the spine. So if you need to bend your knees a little bit to get there, that's absolutely fine. And then bringing your hands back to your hips, take a nice big inhale, coming back up to standing. Let's reach the arms up and overhead. And again, extend the arms, opening up the chest, arms come behind you. This time we're going to bring the hands just to the lower back, squeeze the elbows together behind you. And keeping that kind of squeezing the shoulder blades together, coming forward. You might not be able to come down so far, but keeping the legs nice and strong, opening the chest. Keeping the breath slow and steady. And then taking a nice big inhale, using your core, lifting yourself up, reaching both arms up to the sky. Turning the right toes out, coming back through our warrior two, reverse warrior, and then cartwheeling the arms down and round, stepping back into our plank, taking our vinyasa. Meeting in our downward facing dog. Really pushing down through the hands. Just take a look at your hands. Make sure your fingers are nice and widely spread. Pushing down through your fingers, your thumb, your palms, the heel of your hand. Okay, taking a big step with our left foot. Reaching up into our high lunge. Warrior two, so pivoting on that back foot. Making sure our front knee is over our front toe, making sure our weight is kind of backwards so we're not surfing. Reverse warrior. Back through our warrior two, turn those left toes in, hands to the hips, forward fold, but keeping length in our spine. Just watching here that your weight as well is even on your feet. See if you've got your weight in your heels or your toes. And try and find that center point in your foot. Bringing the hands to the hips, nice big inhale, reaching back up, arms come up to the sky. And exhale, extend the arms, open the chest. This time we're going to clasp the hands behind us. Don't worry too much about straightening the arms, but we're going to fold over, try and hold on to the wrists if you can, if the arms don't fully straighten. And then just letting the arms come up and overhead, strong through the legs. On your next big inhale, bringing yourself all the way up. Releasing the hands, reaching up to the sky, bringing the arms back down, turning the left toes to face forward, coming back through our warrior two, reverse warrior. And then cartwheeling the arms all the way down and round. Stepping back into our plank, optional vinyasa. We can all meet in downward dog. Just really using your down dogs once we are there to try and stretch out the spine. So lifting the hips up as high as you can, using your core to get the hips up high, melting the armpits, melting the chest down towards the knees, letting the head hang heavy. Okay. Everyone bringing the knees down to the mat, keeping the knees hip distance apart, untucking the toes. We're going to come to an upright kneeling position. So here we want to be strong through the legs, tucking the tailbone down towards the floor so you feel an opening in the front of your hips. And trying to keep that length through the back of the neck as well. So nice, strong kind of kneeling position. Bringing our hands to prayer just in front of our heart center. Nice and slowly, we're just going to start kind of swaying backwards. So just bringing your weight backwards and then forwards. Just have a little experiment, just kind of on your own, using your own space, just seeing where your kind of comfort levels are with this. We want to try and keep our body in one straight line. So just using your core here, using those muscles. Exhaling to go back, inhaling to come up. Okay. The next time you come to upright, we're going to reach the hands in front of us. And then we're going to sweep the left hand back and round as we come back. And then back to the front as we come up. Right hand. And you can just follow your gaze with your hand. Follow your hand with your gaze, either. Inhaling to come up to center. And then exhaling back, sweeping round. Okay, evening up both sides. Bringing the hands back to prayer. This time we're going to inhale, reaching up. Again, outstretched arms, open up the chest. Maybe just bringing the hands to your lower back. Opening up the chest to the sky, strong through the legs, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Taking some breaths here. I know it's a bit difficult in this position, but trying to keep your breathing nice and slow. And then slowly coming down, lowering the hips down to the heels. We'll just take a little stretch out of the spine, so you can just bring your hands down in front of you. Just curling into a little ball. Not necessarily, you don't have to lower your head down, just finding your little back stretch here. And then we'll take that one more time. So just bringing yourself up when you're ready. Bringing your hands into prayer position in front of your heart center. Then we'll reach the hands out in front of us, coming into our sweeps first of all. Strong through the core, strong through the legs, really firm base. Taking it even on both sides. And then reaching both hands up, finding that length through the spine, and then slowly bending round, coming into your back bend. If you do want to come into a deeper version of this, if you have that in your practice, please do so, but please be careful. And then slowly coming up, reaching the arms back up to the center. And then we'll all come down into our closed knee child's pose. So just moving your legs together. Head comes down to the floor. Arms come down by your side. Fully relaxing down here. Releasing any tension around your back, around your spine. Nice, slow, deep breathing. And then bringing ourselves back up to kneeling, so just bringing your hands in front of you. Coming to our kneeling position. We're just going to shift our hips over to the right hand side, bringing our left foot up and over our right knee. It doesn't really matter which side you do first. Just making sure either side that both sit bones are, as close to the floor as you can. If one's really rising, then maybe just don't bring the foot over the knee so much. Reaching up with the right hand, coming into our little twist. So left hand comes behind us, sinking that left sit bone down towards the mat, Keeping our spine nice and tall, taking our gaze over our shoulder if that feels okay. And then coming back through to center. Taking that left foot if it's over the knee, swinging it back round, coming back through kneeling. Hips come to the other side, and this time our right leg comes over our left. Trying to lower the outer sit bone right down to the mat. Reaching up with our left hand, finding that length through the side body, length through the spine, and then twisting round. Right hand comes behind us, but just for support. We don't want to be leaning into the right hand, really reaching up through the spine, reaching up through the crown of the head. Good, coming back through center. Unraveling the legs wherever they may be. Let's just bring our legs out in front of us. Bring our arms under our thighs and just curling our spine over our legs. Just finding that natural curve in your spine. Just letting your head hang down towards your knees if that feels okay on the back of the neck. And then bringing ourselves upright. Navasana, boat pose, before we come to lie down. So just another little bit of strengthening of the core. Finding our sit bones. Hands can come behind the thighs to start off with. Let's just come up onto our tiptoes and just find our kind of balancing point. We really want to keep length through the spine here. So let's keep open across the chest, length through the spine. When you are ready, slowly lifting your legs up, engaging your core. If that feels okay, let's bring our hands out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. I'll do that 2 more times. When we are ready, lifting up. Squeezing the legs together might help with the balance. Finding your boat pose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. One more time. When we are ready, lifting up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Have a little rest, curve your head over your knees. And we'll come down to lying. So maybe just shiggling yourself forward on your mat if you need to. Let's reach forward with our fingers, using that nice strong core, that nice healthy spine we've been working on, lowering all the way down to the mat. When we are there, squeezing the knees into the chest, having a little rock and roll from side to side, just massaging your spine, your lower back. Okay. Keeping a hold of our right knee, extending our left leg out to the mat. Just letting the left leg just rest on the mat, squeezing that right knee in. Coming through into our twist, we're going to take our right knee with our left hand, bring it up and over. It might help to just shiggle your hips over to the right a little bit as you come over. So you kind of come onto the side of your left hip. If that helps. I mean, you kind of sometimes need to have a bit of a play around with twists just to find what works for you. So have a little bit of a play around. And then just letting your right arm come out to your shoulder height, your right shoulder, and maybe take your gaze over towards those right fingertips. We'll stay here for a few breaths, just really relaxing down, releasing, As I said, twisting is a wonderful way to release the muscles all around your spine, your lower back. So it can be really nice to come into some twists if you've just had a bit of a hard day at work, or you've got a bit of back pain, or you've been sat in a one position for a long time. Just taking some twists on the floor can really, really help. Just using your exhales to fully soften, fully relax. Releasing any tension, even around your face, around your forehead, just letting any tension go. And then slowly bringing yourself back through to center. Just kind of realigning your hips if you did move them to the side, just making sure your spine is back in a straight line, squeezing both knees in. And this time extending out the left leg, squeezing that right knee in. And then taking that knee up and over, this time maybe just shiggling your hips to the left just an inch or so, just to help you come into the twist, keeping that left shoulder grounded, the left arm out at shoulder height. Please mind that this shoulder, the left shoulder, doesn't come off the mat. If it does, just pull yourself back out of the twist a little. And then maybe taking your gaze over towards those left fingertips. Nice, slow, steady, deep breathing. Really using your exhales to release any tension. Softening down. Finding a little bit more space maybe. Softening the face. And then slowly bringing yourself back through to center. Just realigning your torso again, bringing your spine back into a nice straight line, squeezing the knees into the chest. And then bringing the feet down to the mat, so feet nice and close to the sit bones. Hip distance apart, toes pointing forward. And then knees hip distance apart. So just maybe you can just have a little check down at your feet. Make sure your feet aren't kind of spreading out wider than your hips and that your toes are kind of hidden behind your heels. Hands come down to the mat, palms facing down. And then slowly, first of all, tilting our pelvis. We want to tilt our pelvis up off the floor and then peeling the spine up into our bridge position. So slowly peeling all the way up onto our shoulders, strong through the feet and the legs, and then lowering back down nice and slowly. We'll take a few of these. So maybe take some just in your own time, moving as slowly as you can, really trying to get that pelvic tilt first and then peeling the spine up off the floor. Keeping our knees, hips and feet all in a straight line. Lowering back down inch by inch. And then maybe bringing the breath into it. So a nice slow inhale all the way up. And then a nice long exhale all the way down. If you need to take some extra breaths, that's absolutely fine. Just keeping it slow and steady wherever you are. slowing it down, trying to feel each part of your spine, each vertebra lift off the mat, and then each vertebra lowering back down onto the mat, really slow, really controlled, using your core strength. Using all that lovely flexibility in the back we've been working on. Maybe just taking one more round. And slowly lowering down. When your hips meet the floor, let's come into our Shavasana. So bringing our legs nice and wide. Palms facing up towards the ceiling. You can always have your palms, your hands resting on your belly, by the way, in Shavasana. That can feel a little bit more grounding if you want to feel a bit more grounded. And it's a nice way to feel your breathing as well. Or the kind of more traditional way is to have your palms facing up. Maybe just like wiggling the shoulder blades slightly together, opening up across the chest. Once we are there, closing down the eyes, softening the face, maybe giving our head a little shake from side to side, just loosening up the neck, and then letting the head rest heavy. So really relaxing all those neck muscles, all the muscles around your jaw. Maybe giving your jaw a little shake from side to side. Relaxing down your tongue, your lips, your cheeks, all around your eyes, your forehead, especially that little bit between your eyes that we find ourselves frowning into, just fully releasing all around that area, softening out the skin, relaxing down the muscles, letting your whole head feel really heavy. Coming down into the shoulders, letting the backs of your shoulders fully melt into the ground. And all down your arms, just letting your arms feel really heavy. Your fingers just naturally curling. And then making our way down our spine, fully releasing all down our back, into the back of our hips, all around our abdomen, our belly, the front of the hips, down through our thighs, fully releasing our legs. Softening the calves, the ankles, the feet, the toes. Just letting the whole body soften, relax, melting into the floor. And just feeling those points of contact with the earth, feeling fully supported, fully grounded. Just noticing if any thoughts pop into your head, just letting them go for now. Bringing your focus back to your body, releasing any tension, softening down. And then starting to take a couple of slightly longer breaths. Starting to fill the chest, fill the lungs, fill the belly with air. And nice long, slow exhales to release it all and soften. Starting to wiggle the fingers and the toes.
moving the hands and the feet, and then making your way into your pencil stretch. So stretching out through the feet, all the way up through the body, lengthening the spine, up through the shoulders, into the arms, the hands, and then bringing your knees in, back into your little ball. Rolling over onto your side, left or right, and then pausing here, taking a couple of deep cleansing breaths, really filling up with air, and maybe sighing out. When you are ready, slowly pushing yourself back up to your seated position, coming into our cross-legged or kneeling, keeping your eyes closed, and finding that lovely length through the spine, really grounding down through your sit bones, lengthening up through the crown of your head. Just dropping the shoulders back and down and bringing your hands together into your prayer position. Nice big inhale, and nice long exhale. Opening up the eyes. Namaste, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a wonderful week. And